The Last Duel. It's raining men. Hallelujah. Quote of the movie, I will not be silent. Scene of the movie, I'm risking my life for you. You're risking my life so you can fight your enemy and save your pride. Though I think I like the shorter trailer quote a little bit better. Straight out of the gate, I must admit, I'm a huge Ridley Scott fan. It's hard for me to be overtly critical with him because I love the man and his movies. Also, I have a soft spot for Matt and Ben. Somehow they always feel like the underdogs. And how can you not root for the underdogs? I can't believe they won that Oscar in '98, which completely catapulted their careers. They wrote Goodwill Hunting because no one else was giving them roles. Note to self, if no one else is going to give you a shot, give one to yourself. Did you know they're the 2 youngest screenwriting winners in Oscars history? This was one of my favorite trailers this year. Without giving away too much, it sets the stage and built up major excitement. It definitely gave me those Kingdom of Heaven vibes, not knowing that it's the same composer. More on music later. I guess you could say it's Kingdom of Heaven's cousin, at least time-wise. It was a brilliant choice they brought a female writer to write the female perspective, because why not? They basically threw up their hands and said, we can't really pretend to know what the female perspective is. Also, I felt like they all had each other's backs and sharpened each other's swords, so to speak. Ridley is one of the best to do bloodbath battle sequences. He's actually a master at it. He knows exactly where to place the camera and how much blood needs to be splashing on the audience or dripping from the actor. It's the kind of gore that I love. The Last Duel, like the actual Last Duel, was only like 10 minutes of on-screen time, and I wish I could have seen more. Everyone is a hero in their own story. It didn't bother me one bit to go back and see the different sides to the same scenes. I enjoyed living those moments again from a different perspective. Like Matt's Jean wedding night was holy and pure. In his eyes, he was noble and heroic, full of integrity, strength, and bravery. Adam's Legree thought he was God's gift to women, and Ben's Count Pierre. He thought that he was always the most interesting and intelligent man in any room. He imagined Marguerite longing for him and just sitting, waiting. Delusional. Marguerite saw the world as it was, cold, harsh, and raw. Women were a piece of property. Their wedding day, from her perspective, was just a transaction and completely mechanical. It really was a loveless marriage. Hers was my favorite perspective and had the most music, interestingly enough. She really is brave, and I really admire her. I love that she used a voice to speak up for what she believed in, that he needed to come to justice. Moving on, this passes the Bechdel-Wallace test. There were a good number of scenes between 2 women having a lively conversation. Thank you, Nicole Holofcener. And this has nothing to do with the movie, but Ben's faces to Matt were hilarious. I needed a little comedy for such a serious subject. Now back to the music. It really left me wanting. Maybe my expectations were a little high. I know Ridley was playing with silence on purpose, so he strategically had no music for certain scenes. All you could hear were the flames from the fireplace or candlelight, or the clash of metal. Personally, I just always want more music, and I think they could have even had a theme running throughout the film connecting all the storylines. One major distaste in the film. Warning, I think this could be a major trigger for some. I think it was a horrible decision to show the entire rape scene. Not once, but twice. Like, why show it? For some, it's going to be a huge trigger, either as something they themselves lived through or a situation of someone close to them. I myself know a few people who were raped and have seen the devastating long-term effects. For some other creeps in the audience, it was probably some sick turn-on. Either way, why? I think it should have been the cinematic integrity of the filmmakers to leave more to the imagination of our audience. It wasn't graphic, and for that I am grateful. It also was short, less than a few minutes, and the camera's focus was on their faces. I'm sure they could have gone the Cape Fear kind of route. Gross. Parental warning. This is a tough subject matter that's going to trigger many. There's also nudity, and it didn't need it either. It was so unnecessary and dumb. Also, Ben's character uses a few words that aren't even realistic. Did they even say that back then? It took me out of the story. Maybe someone can educate me. Final thoughts, I think this movie will get more traction as time goes on. It was an uneducated decision to release it the same weekend as a horror film. Really, guys? Also, I just feel like a more sophisticated, mature, older audience isn't back in theaters yet. COVID is still kicking, and many aren't willing to risk it. I will say, don't count this out of the Oscars race either. On every level, there were filmmakers at the top of their game. I would have been damn proud to have been part of this film. The closest I've ever come to Ridley Scott was I filmed a spec commercial in the RSA offices. I just remember there was this huge wooden beautiful table in their conference room, and I was thinking, man, Ridley Scott has great taste, even in tables. One day, Ridley, one day. At least can we have a cup of coffee? And yes, we will be watching Rashomon to compare. I hear it's the same concept, just different worlds. And isn't that what all movies are? The same but different? Let me know your thoughts below. I'll see you next time, cinephiles. I'm off to the movies. Bye for now.